Hey everyone, Dr. Jeff LaCure, and this is another episode of your wake-up call. I got a real important one for you. Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. But I'm gonna call people out. I call it the wake-up call for several different reasons. A lot of people ask, why am I doing something called the wake-up call? And it's so simple yet so complex. On one hand, I know some of the information I share, some of you know. Some of you relate to, and it validates what you know. But for a lot of you, I hope it is a wake-up call. Whatever it is I'm talking about, I hope it inspires you, motivates you, and causes you to really consider what you're doing, how you're doing it, and maybe most importantly, why you're doing it. As promised, I said I would start every episode now with the shame on you and your cell phone usage. So I got a couple pictures for you. I got one right here from Acapulco's restaurant just this past weekend. Take a peek at this couple, and I will tell you that they spent the entire time while at dinner on their cell phones and rarely looked up at each other, rarely had any interaction with each other. I guess I should be happy because it's going to be a future couples counseling client for me. So, hey, stay on your phone. And then take a look at this one from Bobby Flay's, an absolutely delightful hamburger, down in Connecticut. And this couple got their food, and then instead of enjoying each other's company with a wonderful conversation and a very delightful burger, Bobby Flay, not a sponsor, but probably should be, they just sat on their phones. One guy just sat it right on the countertop. Take a look. You can see he's just got his phone on the countertop, and his wife is just doing the old I love you scroll. And you know, if her finger could talk, it would be, why am I married to this guy? What's the point? Looking at the screen is far more exciting than he is. My guess is, folks, we're probably just a generation away before our cell phones are not only just talking to each other and distracting us from real human connection, our cell phones will probably start having sex with each other. And then you don't even have to be part of that anymore. Just bring your cell phone to bed, put it on the pillow, put on some soft music, a candle, maybe your favorite song in the background, and let the cell phones just tear it up. Barry White. Oh yeah, I went old school on that one. See, I even did a Barry White voice. Barry White is rolling over in his grave right now. Can't get enough of Your Love, Babe. The 2023 version, can't get enough of your cell phone, babe. Oh, look at the curves. Look at the beautifulness on that screen. Man, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. People, I'll stop there. Get off your damn cell phones. Seriously. And talk with each other. Spend some time with each other. Why do you ever need to bring your cell phone into a restaurant? Ever. Ever. I tell you, I'm going to start my own restaurant. It's going to be called Dr. Jeff's Restaurant. And it's going to be smoke-free, jerk-free, and cell phone-free. Oh, I have no customers, but for 2 weeks I'll be avant-garde. You know, I got to do the natural tie-in to cell phones. And because I'm watching and I'm posting. I can't wait to see who we reveal next week. So watch yourself. I do go out to eat 2 or 3 times a week. Cell phones run on a battery. And a lot of things run on a battery. Our laptops. Maybe most importantly now, if you're drinking the Kool-Aid and you're a social justice warrior, you're a climate change combatant, you're just I'm all about climate and I'm all about the environment, which is actually something good to be concerned about, right? We all share this planet. But this is the wake-up call. And I want to show you where the cobalt for your batteries that are in your electric vehicles that is helping the environment. See, you're so good. You're so good. You're driving a $65,000 vehicle. You go, girl. You go, dude. Man, you're just doing it all right for the environment. You care so much about the environment. Take a look at this video. Take a look at the environment And take a look at these children in Congo, the DOC. Take a look at the Democratic Republic of Congo, where China gets about 80% of all their materials for the batteries that we then buy from them. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Take a look at this video.
This is one of the thousands of unregulated, unmonitored mines in the DRC. It's crawling with children, working like modern-day slaves. A 12-hour-long day of punishing work may earn them the equivalent of £1. Although one of the poorest countries on earth, DRC is rich in minerals. But a history of brutal colonial exploitation looks like being repeated now in 2017. Much of it's mined by hand with rudimentary tools in harsh, potentially hazardous conditions. And wretched whether or not, the rush is on for a mineral the DRC has in great abundance, cobalt, and it's fast becoming more precious than gold. It's a critical ingredient in lithium-ion batteries which power smartphones and laptops. An army of children are at the heart of the mining production. Wearing no shoes and in the most wretched conditions, Dorsan is ordered to retrieve the sack he's forgotten. There's an urgency now. The rains make this dangerous work even more risky, and Dorsan's told in no uncertain terms he risks a beating if he messes up again. Dorsan, with Richard beside him, have worked all day. They're 8 and 11 years old. Even this punishing work doesn't guarantee enough for food. Dorsan hasn't eaten for 2 days now.
Now, back in the day, we had a bunch of artists get together to do "We Are the World." Sorry to sing publicly for you folks, just in that kind of tear it up mood right now. And that was to help starving people across the country. Well, this is a music video that was put out by a humanitarian group in Congo, saying, basically, if you listen to the lyrics, your extravagance, your phone usage, your electronic vehicles, these are the children who mine the materials for that. And, you know, it's so interesting because I haven't seen, I watch the Republican debate. I'll watch when they eventually maybe do a Democrat debate, although Biden will probably be snoozing in his basement. Yeah, I said that. Thanks for voting for him, by the way, folks. Thank you. Boy, the world's a lot better with them, isn't it? The country's a lot better. And by the way, you hear nothing on the Democrat side, nothing on the Republican side about these young children in Congo. And if you watch the video, and I hope you did, it's only 58 seconds of your time. They're making less than $2 an hour. They're basically enslaved. And, you know, I watched the Republican debate, and even though this is in another country, I would like to think that we all care about all of the world's children. And not one candidate mentioned that. And part 2 of this podcast that I'll do for you next week is I'm going to identify for you, I'm going to give you the names of everyone that's in public office that owns stock in these companies that are hiring these children to mine the cobalt that's going into the batteries. I can tell you right now we have a lot of senators and congresspeople who have stock in these companies, who have stock in these electronic vehicle companies. And I'm going to list the names for you. This is the wake-up call. I want you to know who you're voting for. I'm not suggesting that the Republicans are any better than the Democrats or the Democrats are any better than the Republicans. I'm not suggesting that at all. What I'm suggesting is you need to know who you're voting for. Huge votes coming up next year. I digress. Back to these children. So I hope you enjoy your electronic vehicle. I hope you enjoy one of the biggest lies ever perpetuated, ever given to us in this country, that somehow these vehicles were better for the environment, that they're better for the people. By the way, see how much it costs to replace one of these batteries. I've heard some estimates up to $15,000 to replace the battery in the battery system. That's crazy. How is somebody who's living in the middle class or less, making $45,000 a year, how are they supposed to buy one of these vehicles, right? But, I've seen people who are saving every penny so that they can because they think they're doing great by the environment. But again, I want you to I always say this in every one of my podcasts, follow the money. And these young children are making less than $2 an hour. Take a look at some of the visuals that I downloaded that I want you to see. Because I want to call out another group, all right? Another group that some of you have embraced, but again, you're embracing them without knowing all the facts. That's why I have the wake-up call. You could disagree with it, but we can't disagree with facts. We could disagree with feelings. Take a look at this picture, this image for a moment, and look at this child. Right? Is this what you are proud of when you turn on your electronic devices? Is this what you're proud of when you plug in your EV because you're just so environmentally conscious? No, you're a fool. You're a fool because you haven't done all the research, right? You believed one story. Combustible engines, bad. Electronic vehicles, good. Energy independence for this country, bad. Relying on other countries for energy, including EV vehicles, good. See, the wake-up call is going to present to you facts so you can take a peek and come up with an informed decision. We have too many uninformed voters who are making uninformed decisions by over-informed candidates. Take a look at this next visual of the children together in the village. And see if that doesn't warm your heart. See if you don't want to go out right now and buy an electronic vehicle because you care so much. And speaking of caring so much, I have to call out another bogus organization that is one big lie. Black Lives Matter. Now, let me be clear. The sentence, Black Lives Matter, 100% accurate. For that matter, and I know I'll catch flack for this, all lives matter, regardless of culture, regardless of demographic, and maybe most importantly, regardless of skin color. But I don't remember once hearing any of the representatives of the Black Lives Matter movement, whatever the hell that means, talking about these black children in the DOC in Congo. Do you remember seeing that? I don't remember them protesting in 2020 when they were talking about what a racist country this is, how bad police officers are, how there's no equality for people of color. I don't remember them mentioning these children in Congo. It's very interesting. And I also don't remember them mentioning the children slaughtered every weekend in the inner city in Chicago. And they're mostly black and brown children. Black Lives Matter. Yeah, wink, wink. If Black Lives truly mattered, meaning the organization, if they truly cared about people with black and brown skin, first of all, their founder wouldn't have two multi-million-dollar homes. So all of you who donated to Black Lives Matter, nice work. Nice work. She bought wonderful properties. She really did. Nice work. I wonder what those kids in Congo are living in. Let's take a look again at their village. Take a look at this picture once again of these young kids and the village they live in. Huh, interesting. Doesn't look like it doesn't look like a gated community. Doesn't look like it has armed guards. But Black Lives Matter. Nope. The only color that matters, and we know it, is green. Money matters. Money matters. And these children are making less than $2 an hour. And they're working 12 to 16 hours a day. And again, watch the video. Watch the video 3 or 4 times. I don't encourage you to watch it when you're in a particularly good mood, because if it doesn't bring you down or make you angry, you're an unfeeling person. But these kids are enslaved. They are not reaping the benefits of their rewards. 80% of what they're mining goes to China, right? That's where China's getting 80% of their materials. And they're making batteries because you're a social justice warrior. See, follow the money. Maybe what it should be for everyone is green lives matter. See, if there's money involved, then it's a priority. These children are invisible, but not today. Not today. I know I don't have a lot of followers. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers. And quite frankly, I know I don't even have a lot of viewers. But you know what I do have? Integrity, honesty. And if I see it, I'm going to show it. And I will tell you, because I am not a hypocrite. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a hypocrite. And I will tell you flat out, I have to now reconsider my own cell phone usage. I have to research to see if my cell phone was made in China, was made with a battery where the materials for that battery was harvested in the DOC in Congo. And was it harvested by children making less than $2 an hour? Because then I can no longer use that cell phone. Because then I'm a hypocrite. And like I said, I'm a lot of things. I'm a sensitive, caring man with lots of vulnerabilities. I make plenty of mistakes. But I cannot sit in front of you today, my social justice warriors, my climate change militia, and tell you how foolish you are, how you don't practice what you preach, if I indeed don't practice what I preach. And I will tell you, I am going to find out, I am going to research this one as best I can, and I'm going to find out where the Samsung Galaxy is made. I'm going to find out where the iPhones are made, and I'm going to find out what materials they use and where they received those materials. I promise you next week we're going to have more information, and then I'm going to hopefully challenge you to make some decisions. Right now, what I will tell you is if you do own an electronic vehicle and you watch this podcast and you don't immediately sell it, you're a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. You truly don't care about the environment, and you truly, maybe most importantly, you don't care about children's rights. For all of you out there who are parents, I want you to look in the back seat at your child today, because I believe this is the first week of school. I hear the celebrations. And if any of your children are in a car seat, think about this child again from Congo. They're not even wearing shoes. But you're in an electronic vehicle that has a battery that was made in China and produced, the materials were mined in a country where children are enslaved. By the way, speaking of those who are enslaved, how about the Uyghurs in China? So interesting because they're out mining too. I don't remember hearing any Republican bring that up in the debate. Some of them talked about China being our worst enemy and a big threat to us, which, by the way, I agree with. I think globally, there's no question, as a communist country, they stand for everything that is against what we stand for in this wonderful and beautiful country, as flawed as we are. But do you ever hear anybody talking about the Uyghurs and the fact that they're out there basically enslaved and mining? Yeah, it's interesting. But continue to drive your electronic vehicle. Seriously, continue to get a new cell phone every year because you got to have the newest and greatest. But again, folks, I want to challenge you to think about, to research where did it come from and on whose back was it created? Whose back was it built on? And who is making the money off of it? And I promise you, I am going to let you know as many state congresspeople and senators and national congresspeople and senators who are deeply linked to green energy. Let's review that for a second. Green energy. You know what that really means? Oh, there's a ton of money involved. Green energy. Let's find out. I promise I will deliver that to you. So I'll close with this. I want you to look at the image of this little guy in Congo one more time. Take a peek. Look at this image of this little boy right now and ask yourself, is your cell phone worth it? Ask yourself if your green energy electric vehicle is worth it. And I'll tell you flat out, I know what the answer is. We'll see what you do with it. In the meantime, I remind you all, I'm watching. Now, I may have to actually use a real camera, because if I find out my cell phone was made in a country that's ripping us off, if I find out that the battery in my cell phone was the materials was mined in the DOC by a bunch of children, I won't be able to use my cell phone, but I'll figure out a way to take pictures because I'm watching. I'd like to thank you for watching today. This is Dr. Jeff LaCure, and this has been your wake-up call. I'll see you next week.